Like being on a mission, searching in wonder, so are the games of our lives. You see it. A new episode of Games of Our Lives is up. It fills you with determination. And these are the games of our lives. Super Mario and Pokemon and all the games that took us to another place and made us want to keep playing all night. These are the games of our lives.
Welcome everybody to the Games of Our Lives podcast. My name is Bill, of course, accompanied as always by the man, the myth, the legend, Tony.
Appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you. Happy whatever day it is. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, imaginary day. It doesn't matter because it's Undertale day here at the Games of Our Lives podcast. Maybe talking about one of the newest games that we'll probably ever talk about in this show.
Hard to find them that good these days.
Impressive we're talking about a game that's only 6 years old.
Yeah, it's just that good. Spoiler alert. It's a good game.
It's a pretty good game. If it wasn't good, we would save it for the wag of the finger.
Yeah, we're talking about good series. We've been talking about good series so far. I think there gotta be a couple, bad episodes or good. They're all good.
Couple of poopers in there. Couple of good episodes about bad games.
Exactly. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Right now we're riding the good game train.
All aboard. Choo choo.
The GGT, baby, choo.
We on that GGT. But before we get to the GGT train ride that we're all excited for, let's talk about the news. I don't have a good way to get into that one yet, but we'll figure it out. Listen. You know who else doesn't know how to figure it out yet? Nintendo.
King segue.
Nintendo Switch Online is live, and people are already having problems with it. Some of the issues that we've seen are that people are having issues with input lag. People are having issues with just online connectivity in general. Apparently, the way the online works, you can only have a single controller play online. So for Mario Kart, you can't go like 2v2s. You can only assign one person into the online to race. So you can only have one racer online, which I guess is fine, but it's a little weird. And I guess some of the games are having just trouble with like rendering and stuff like that. I guess Ocarina of Time specifically has been having like trouble rendering like fog. So whatever emulator Nintendo's using, they should probably hit up the Project 64 guys and get this situated. Tony, what are your thoughts on the Nintendo Switch rollout for live?
Honestly, the thought is going through my head. I almost feel bad for Nintendo, but let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you think that they're doing this stuff, the mistakes, the things that they just can't do right with, they make beautiful, wonderful games, they have our souls, they have everything they want out of us, but they just are so bad with online stuff in certain things like this so consistently. I feel badly because I think maybe they're just not good enough to figure it out, but then I'm like, that's absurd to think. Like, they could hire anyone, they could figure that out so easily. Is that kind of ignorant of me to think that maybe they can't fix it, or do you think it's them just not feeling like fixing it, or even doing it on purpose?
I wonder if it starts at the top, and some of the people who are in Nintendo, like, who have been there for a long time, maybe the world has passed them by a little bit. Looking at you, Shiggy. Like maybe, just maybe, like these boomers in power right now are not necessarily up to snuff when it comes to doing online stuff or having an online presence or like the importance of internet connectivity. And honestly, like, how much better is Nintendo Switch Online compared to the Wii's Online? Like, guess what? It was terrible playing Brawl Online, and it's almost equally as terrible playing, Smash Ultimate Online. And I think that's a really damning statement about Nintendo's online capabilities. The fact that they're charging $30 for the availability of Nintendo 64 games is looking like worse and worse every day.
Yep. 100% nailed it. That is a lot. And $50 a year. Although, watched a YouTube video. I guess I don't know if this is accurate or not. It had some likes, so maybe it is accurate. But Nintendo's still gonna get their money. But if you want to try to take advantage of it as best as you can, you could do the family plan, which is $80 for a year. But you can sign up 8 different people. They don't have to be in the same household or anything, I don't believe. So you can really get it for $10 a year. Nintendo's still making out like crazy, but aside from that, if we want to play what we want to play on that console and online and stuff, then that's not bad. But apparently it's still bad because it's like spending $10 on nothing if you're not going to play it at all, which kind of seems like how it is right now with how bad it is.
Right. I think the family plan, you hit it right on the head. I think you're going to see a lot of people move over to the family plans if they haven't already. And the fact that you can get, even if you get 4 people on the family plan, you're still capping out at $20, which is what you were paying already for Nintendo Switch Online if you were just a single payer user. It works both ways on that one. We take those. But you nailed it. I think that's the way to go, is go for these family plans. I think because the Animal Crossing DLC is going to be attached to it, I'm going to end up getting it on November 5th when the DLC comes out. So I probably will single player YOLO it in, unfortunately. But moving forward, if there's no DLC attached to it, then I don't see a reason not to get the family plan.
Dude, I'll get the family plan with you if you want. We can gather some heads. Let's do it.
Ooh.
If you want.
That's not a bad idea. Guess what? I've been talking to a couple other people about this exact thing.
Oh.
Namely our boy Maddie. But
oh, yeah, really?
Yeah, so hey, might be doable.
I think so, right? You save a few bucks and then we could, I don't know, then we have some great podcast content. You know, we could really talk about how bad it is. This is just from what we're hearing. I mean, I don't have it. I don't think you have it. And, you know, you just said you're going to get it on November 5th, so you don't have it. And, but yeah, now we could actually, like, back it up, you know? Like, experience the awfulness for ourselves.
That's very true. I can't wait to lag through Mario Kart 64 against you.
All I think about. That's the only reason I want a Nintendo Switch Online, and if it's that bad. And I notice there's, of course I gotta bring it up, no ranking system or anything for Mario Kart. It looks like you just play some random Mario Kart games. Like, that's fun. Yeah. That's fine. And I still want to see how good the people are online and whatnot, but, like, if it's laggy, then now there's nothing. Now I'm just like, what?
You know what I'm gonna do?
Yeah.
Because just to make you, like, miserable. I am going to take my Nintendo Switch. I'm going to put it into handheld mode. I'm going to walk to, like, the furthest corner of my apartment from the router and play it like that. Just with the most shoddy internet, clipping through walls and shit. I don't know what's going to happen.
You are not a nice boy.
I'm just kidding. I'll be, like, literally, like, hardwired into the Switch and be like, no, I swear, I don't know what's happening. It's just this Walmart connection I got. I don't know.
Statement stands. You're just not a nice boy in general.
You know who else isn't a nice boy?
Talk to me.
Halo support. Because after January 13th, 2022, they are pulling the plug. Halo on Xbox 360 will be no more in an online setting as of January 13th. Although I will say, 2022, that's 15 years of support, so that's pretty good. A 15-year run is not bad, now that I'm thinking about it.
That's just for 360?
That just for 360.
Oh, man.
So, like, Xbox One and Xbox Series X will still have support.
Wow. Wow. That's,
But that's end of an era right there. Like, Halo 3... That was the only Halo game that I played.
Wow. Yeah, mine was Halo 2. I mean, I played 3 and Reach and 4, but...
Probably had 100-plus hours in that game, too. Loved it. I mean, Halo 3 was so good that people who don't even play shooters loved Halo.
Oh, yeah, we could definitely do a Halo episode.
It's true. For sure.
But it is, yeah, that's, wow. Yeah, just an end of an era. That's crazy. 15 years. It's, wow. 360, man, that's crazy. It's like I'm not like happy or sad about it because it doesn't really hit me too hard on a daily basis. I don't play that anymore, but I remember playing it, and I I guess I can't believe people still play it, but I can believe it. But now that you say it and that it's coming to an end, I'm like, oh wow, all right, that's tip of the hat to a good. That's like Derek Jeter, but like half as good as Derek Jeter, kind of like in his career.
Right. Only Halo's only half as good as Derek Jeter's career.
Dude, Jeter's a monster, bro.
I don't know. Halo's a multi-billion-dollar franchise.
It's a multi-billion-dollar man.
Is he a multi-billion? He might be, honestly.
That's hard work right there. But no, Halo, I would definitely like throw him off a cliff to save a copy of Halo 2. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, Derek. No, I'm just kidding, dude. Just kidding.
He's not kidding. Man.
No, I'm going for my man. But love Halo 2, one of my top 3 games of all time. Don't let me
It's great. It's a great game.
Yeah, top 5.
Speaking of throwing people off a cliff, though, there's a famous rapper who might be getting tossed very soon. We have infamous video game leaker, Snoop Dogg. Announced on a random interview that he said, yeah, Dr. Dre's working on a new Grand Theft Auto game. Like, Snoop just said that for free. Did not have to break that, but he did.
What doesn't that man do?
Snoop is a legend.
Rap, for one thing. Just kidding. That's a whole nother episode. That's a whole nother podcast.
Snoop Dogg could legitimately show up at any concert in the world, and people would be like, yeah, I get it. Like, any genre of music. Like, it could be like, Mountains of Men or whatever that band is, that, like, indie band, and they'll be like, oh, they're touring with Snoop? Yeah, I get it. Weezer touring with Snoop? Yeah, I get it. It actually would be weird if he just toured on a hip hop tour at this point.
What a life. What a character he is, huh?
Man, he might be the main character. If we're all NPCs, Snoop Dogg might be the main character. And I'd be okay with that.
I can't even be upset about that, can I?
No, he's great.
Yeah, no, he's if that's what the aliens are watching or playing in The Sims, if that's their character, then that's fine. I know how I play in GTA,
Exactly.
Bring it full circle. I'm not. Yeah, no. Sometimes I'll stop at a stop sign, or a stoplight or something. Once in a while, I'll play real slow. If my girlfriend's watching me, I'll just be take my time, right on red, make sure no one's coming, and just really wait for someone to break the rules, and then I let them have it, more or less.
Easy peasy. Last piece of news, maybe the most important piece of news for longtime listeners. You may remember, episode 2, we talked about Super Smash Brothers, and Tony put out basically a wish list of all the fighters he wanted. Well, some of those characters are about to come true, Tony, because there's a new game from NetherRealm Games. It is a Warner Brothers crossover platform fighter. It's been confirmed that it is a real game that does exist. It's a, quote, tag team game, which I don't know if that means it's more like a Marvel versus Capcom type thing where you have you pick a main fighter and then you pick a team of fighters and you can swap between them, which is kind of cool. But you want to take a guess? There's a list of 6 or 7 confirmed characters. You want to take a guess as to who's in the game?
This is all of Warner Brothers?
Yes.
Oh my god! All right, there's one character that comes in my head, and I had to literally think about it because I don't even know if it's Warner Brothers or not. So you're either gonna go, "Yep, he's in it. That's obvious," or you're gonna go, "What the hell are you talking about? You are so far away." I'm gonna say Bugs Bunny.
So Bugs Bunny is not one of the confirmed characters on this list. Oh my god! You know what would be great though? If LeBron James ends up being a character in the game.
Oh my god.
Because he was in Space Jam.
Is Looney Tunes?
Yes. Looney Tunes is literally Warner Brothers.
Okay, alright. What am I thinking of that's Disney then?
Bugs as a fighter would make sense. But here are the characters that, according to this leaker, have been confirmed in the game. absolutely ridiculous. We've got Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, Gandalf from Lord of the Rings, Tom and Jerry, Batman, Fred Flintstone, Mad Max, Harry Potter and Ron Weasley, and Johnny Bravo. What the hell
Ending it
is
with
this?
Harry Potter and Ron Weasley and then saying Johnny Bravo is like, alright, this is an absolute shit show.
Like, it is a fever dream in maybe the worst way.
Wow. That sounds like shit. There's no other way to say it.
So I haven't played Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, but from what I can tell, it looks fine, whatever, but it's not surprisingly, it's not going to usurp the throne from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Apparently, Sora in Smash is gonna keep it alive for another 6 years until the next Smash comes out. I don't know. When you can have Shaggy and Batman against Harry Potter and Johnny Bravo, I'm just not sure that Snoop Dogg wasn't the one who leaked this list.
Yeah, I hate Scooby-Doo, so when the first character is Shaggy, I'm out, you know what I mean?
just off the bat, you're done.
Done. But but there are characters and I guess there are a couple characters in Ultimate that I don't like.
Bugs and Daffy could make their way in.
I don't really like Looney Tunes either, honestly. I'm not a big Warner Brothers guy.
Maybe the Animaniacs.
They were alright. I was really young watching them.
Maybe a Chrysler Sebring could make its way to the list.
Warmer.
We're getting there. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. We'll obviously be keeping a close eye on this nightmare.
Let's not. Let's forget about it. I think
that's absolutely what's going to happen.
Yeah, MVC will still reign supreme in the tag team fighting games.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I don't know why. Like, we don't need this game. I'm sure they could look at the Super Smash Brothers Nickelodeon game and be like, you know what? Maybe the world doesn't need 6 Super Smash Brothers platform fighters. We don't. Like, I don't even have time for Super Smash Brothers, and that's the good one. You think I'm gonna make time for Johnny Bravo versus Shaggy? Like, zoinks, my guy.
Whew. Wow, right in the face.
But I'm done talking about bad games, and I'm here to talk about a bad movie. Pixar's got a new movie coming out called Buzz Lightyear, and it is just weird. Didn't expect it, didn't see it coming. Looks weird. It'll probably be good, but I don't even know if I'm gonna watch it. It's not Toy Story 5. It's just a guy in a spacesuit. In space movies, I don't know, man. They're not for me.
I'm running out of ways to disregard things on this podcast because I got literally nothing for that. Not a joke, not a whimper, not a scoff. I mean, my tank is empty for stuff like that.
Then let's just jump into the game of the week, because this news was interesting to say the least. Actually, interesting to say the most. It's a rough news week, but we're making up for it with one of the greatest games of the last decade for sure. We're talking about Toby Fox's Undertale. Now, Undertale, normally on this show we talk about games that, shaped who we are as gamers from our past. But this game's a little bit different because it's pretty new. And I played the game personally back in about 2017, 2018, so it was a little bit of a post-hype gameplay. Tony played the game for the first time this week, if I'm saying this correctly, Tony.
Actually, I hate to say it, it's probably like a 6.5 hour game, I think, my first playthrough, but it's taken me like a solid 6 months to a year to actually play through the whole thing, just because of how little I went back to it, and I don't know why that was just me being lazy, honestly. But with that being said, this games shaped us. The games of our lives that have shaped us. This game shaped me currently. This is such a good game. This is a 10 out of 10. Let's just come out and say it. This is an unbelievable game, and I plan on playing it through again this time. It will be probably in under a week.
Straight up 10 out of 10 game. The game, just for those who are unaware, it is a 2D RPG game made by Toby Fox. It is available on literally every platform at this point in time. It originally came out as a Steam game, but it's everywhere. It is a game that looks very similar visual energy to games like Earthbound, I think is like a common thing, but there's also a lot of like bullet hell elements to it, and there are a handful of ways that you can play the game in that there are multiple endings based on decisions that you make in the game, and Tony and I actually went through 2 different versions of the game based on our story decisions, and it's just something real special. The music is absolutely incredible. One of the best soundtracks I've heard maybe in my life, and the writing is beautiful. The visuals, as simple as they are, like all are very striking, and dang, I mean, outside of the cursed fan base, which we can get into, it's such a good game. Now, Tony, by the way, we are going to cover some spoilers in this, so if you haven't played the game, maybe go play it. It's like $10, and it's only 6 hours long. It's beautiful. Tony, take us through your experience having freshly gone through it.
Well, wow. Well, first of all, let me agree with everything that you said. I would say the visuals are the worst part of the game, but I care so little about that because of how good everything else is. Everything else, 10 out of 10. The writing, the humor is good in it, which I think is hard for games to do at points without being really corny. It's wow, yeah, the fighting, the mini game style fighting with the bullet hells and the timing based stuff, that's great. The thinking, the combat system, the writing, just everything. The music. Toby Fox is not a company, mind you. Toby Fox is a single human
guy.
man. Like, that is unbelievable. Tip of the hat, automatic tip for that. But yeah, basically, I finished the game last week. Played the last hour and a half or so, and it is this is gonna get deep. Let me preface this whole episode, this whole segment of how deep it's gonna get. Basically, now how much are we giving away here? Are we taking them from the very beginning through? Which I'm a little hazy on the beginning, so there's gonna be some corners cut.
So I could jump in with the beginning here. So in the beginning, you play as this child named Frisk, and you fall down into the world of monsters, basically the underground, as it's called. And the whole plot of the game is for you to escape the underground to get back to the human world. And through this adventure, you come into encounters with all sorts of monsters. They're all monsters, technically, who live down here. And in a lot of situations, you end up in battles with them where you can either fight them or you can spare them. And a lot of the story is molded by your decisions to fight or spare enemies or characters in the game, and this carries from the very first enemy in the game all the way to the final boss. So there are versions of this game where you can spare every single character or fight every single character, and there's a bunch of area in the middle that's gray. So your first encounter is with a very motherly character named Toriel, and she's basically your tutorial for the underground, and everything starts there, and you just kind of make your way through this wild, crazy underground area running into monsters and meeting all these wild goofballs, as I've grown to know them as. And, you're escaping certain characters who are out to get you. There are certain characters who are out to befriend you. And, depending on how these battles go, you might hurt one of them. And that's a bad thing for me. Now, Tony, what was your path through this game?
Killed Torian instantly.
When you killed Toriel, how did you feel?
Oh, I feel like an evil villain, but that's the worst way to start this, because anyone listening that has turned it off by now after hearing that is like, well, of course, yeah, he doesn't care. But that's not true, and I don't assume that you're saying that, but if anyone is, I hope you hear me out. I thought about this game pretty deeply while I was playing it right from the get-go, and I tried to make it as real as possible to me, scenario-wise, even though you're playing as, I guess it's a young kid, but like, I'm playing the scenarios. I'm a vegetarian. I try to treat all life equally. I want nothing but peace, and as a kid that gets dropped in a hole, you're unaware, trust level 0 right now. So if someone's trying to help me, that's fine, but then I appreciate it, and I'm like, alright, they seem genuinely good. But then it gets to a point where I'm trying to leave, and Toriel wouldn't let me. And then that gets to a point where it's... I think you have an encounter before her, right? If I'm not mistaken. You have a couple encounters.
Before you fight Toriel? Yes.
Yeah.
There's
okay.
a couple of enemies that you meet, and a couple of... I think there's also like a training dummy.
The dummy was funny. I think I remember.
But she's effectively the first boss of the game.
That's fair. Well, before I even finish that, sorry to cut you off. Did you want to keep going?
No. You're good.
I remember this was all my girlfriend. She was like, "You gotta play this game. I played it a while ago. I want to see how you would play it." And I'm like, "Oh, that's really cool that she wants to see like how I would play a game. I wonder what kind of game it is, like what kind of experience it is." And for it to be this game, like the Earthbound-esque, like unbelievably written, amazing game, like tip of the hat to her. And
tip of the hat.
And now I understand why, after having played it, because this is such a thinker, so it's like wanting to see how someone would play. I mean, I could want to see how you play Mario Kart, but now I understand like how she wants to see me play. And right off the rip, I think the first encounter, I was like, oh, you could spare them, you don't have to kill them. So it's like, all right, nothing wrong with that. No, why am I just gonna kill something? Who knows if it's actually attacking me or not, But then I think by the second or third encounter, it was like a frog, and it I don't want to say, and this is where it gets deep, like, where's the happy medium in something like this? Like in real life, my line is if someone were to put their hands on me, that's like crossing the line where I feel like self-defense is okay. How that translates into a game, if something is attacking me, putting damage on my character, that I feel like that's the equivalent, except maybe in a game, maybe in real life too. See, this is a weird one. How lenient are you going to be with someone attacking you, either in a game or in real life? At some point, I think you have to defend yourself if you think that you don't want to just like get knocked out, or if it's like life versus life and survival, and you want to live and continue to live your life, and something or somebody or an animal is threatening that, what are you gonna do? So having said all that, in the game, I'm like, this thing is threatening me, I have to survive now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So I killed the frog. Then fast forward tutorial, and I wanted to go. I was like, all right, I don't know where I am. in real life. I gotta get out. Please let me go. And it's just like now it's less of a motherly, I'm trying to help you scenario. Like that's the vibe I got from it, and more of a no, like I'm not like I don't know you. You know what I mean? I just met you. You're trying to be nice, but trust is real hard to give. So I'm just like I
Right.
gotta do what's best for me. And I fought her and I killed her, and after that the game was shaped a certain way, and it was basically those happy mediums throughout, of I don't know how happy killing something is, but basically just mediums throughout of this thing doesn't need to kill me. Okay, these things are attacking me. Why is everything always doing damage to me? Like I need to get out of here. I don't trust any of this. Like down to the final boss who just like gives you the big story and is like spare me, and I'm just like I don't trust you. You know what I mean? You were just trying to kill me a
Sure.
minute ago. The only reason you're saying to spare you is because you're on your your last leg. So like killed him, and then the final boss had some slick words at the end. I was like, of course you're gonna say something like that. You're not you're not past me. There's like I knew you had it in you, and I had like an anime moment. I was like I knew you were gonna say that. Boom, like, and that was it. But like yeah, that was my experience. And in amidst all that, that's the core and the depth to the game. I mean, that is covered in a sugary, chocolatey, creamy, delicious ball of just comedy and good fighting system in a nice little overworld with just insane game, insane feeling, vibe, music, characters. Oh, the characters, Bill, talk to me about it, bro.
Just to add one thing to what you said, this is a game where every single battle that you take part in matters in some way or another, because if you do kill even one like inconsequential enemy, you cannot partake in what's called the true pacifist route, which shows all of the characters. Here's a little bit of a spoiler for you if you're cool with that, Tony.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Basically, all of the main characters that you came across during the whole story of the game, which includes some of the most incredible characters in video games. You have Papyrus and Sans, the Skeleton Brothers. Sans needs no introduction. He is Undertale, really. Then you have characters like Undyne, who is this fierce warrior. You have Alphys, who's the royal scientist and a closet weeb, and really, really has trouble keeping that closet door shut, because like every single time she talks, she's like, "Well, I'm talking about Mad Mew Mew Kitty anime season 2." And then you have a robot who's out to kill you at some point, Metaton. And then at the end of the game, if you are in the true pacifist run, you do not battle against the character Sans. Sans is an optional boss battle in this game. Tony, did you end up fighting Sans?
No, he actually is the true final boss if you take the genocide route.
Right. So he is, if you do the genocide route, which has you kill every single character that you come across, including like running through each area and encountering enough random encounters to kill all of the monsters in each area.
Yeah, you really have to go out of your way to do it.
You will fight against Sans. Now, the cool thing about Sans is that he has the best boss music in video game history. And I personally will never ever encounter that song in a game, because I can't bring myself to play the genocide route, because I wouldn't want to hurt sweet baby boy Papyrus ever. Like he's too dorky and lovable that I just cannot bring myself to do that to him. The only person that I felt like almost like I may have to fight them is Asgore. Like he's definitely like the least I don't know, like at the point in time in the game you're like, man, like he is a scary dude and it looks like he's not going to break. But you can, with the pacifist route, choose to spare everybody, including the true final boss of the pacifist route, which is like Omega Flowey. Now, Flowey is a a Mean Bean character that you meet at the very beginning of the game. He's the first, quote, enemy that you encounter, and he tries to hurt you. And it's pretty scary because at first he's like this cute little flower boy, and then he gets like a skull face, and you're like, what is happening here? and then at the end of the game, it turns out that inside Flowey is the soul of Asriel, who is the son of Asgore and Toriel, and he has actually an incredible boss theme too. Did you end up fighting Asriel?
No. Yeah, I fought
like once you fought Asgore, was it over?
No, it was Asgore, and then it was Flowey, and then it was the
MS
crazy
Paint creation.
Yeah, the crazy like final form, like and insane. Like the game is like deleted and saved and stuff like that. I was like, this is crazy.
Trippy final boss.
Yeah, I'm just like, man, this game did nothing wrong. Like, like everything is so good. What a good game! I cannot stress it enough. What a good game. But no, I didn't fight Asriel.
So in the pacifist run, it might just be the pacifist run that you encounter Asriel in this fight. But when you defeat Flowey, you can choose to spare him at the end, and then he starts fighting you as Asriel, and the music gets like really intense, and then there's like a whole very similar to what happens in like the big Flowey fight where like everybody's like souls come together and they're like, oh, we're gonna root for you and the power of friendship and blah 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 blah. And like the power of friendship ends up winning, of course.
Always does.
As it should. Come on. But the fact that you can go through and, you know, depending on what characters you interact with, like, for example, if you end up sparing Undyne and Papyrus and Alphys, you can encounter, like, a mini dating simulator. And you can end up, like, taking Papyrus on a date, which is hilarious. It's such a good, like, you should just, like, watch the YouTube video of it. It's so great. But then, like, Undyne and Alphys end up dating each other. It's, like, a whole thing. And, like, then you have, like, the whole Toriel and Asgore thing, which is truly tragic. If there are playthroughs where, like, Toriel may be, like, the only casualty, because the way they do the Toriel boss fight is kind of like a gotcha moment.
Yeah.
Because when you're fighting Toriel, you're doing, like, little chunks of damage at a time. But, like, the last 2 hits that you do against Toriel are, like, super double critical hits that deal, like, 1/2 of her health bar. So it's really easy to accidentally kill Toriel. Because she only takes, like, 4 hits to kill. And it's kind of like a, oh, shoot, moment. And it's crazy because, like, characters will remind you of your decisions throughout the game too. Like, different characters have different texts based on, like, which characters you've spared and killed. And, like, some characters will, like, legitimately be, like, afraid of you if you've killed certain people. But the lore goes so deep because we're not even through talking about half of the main characters. It's almost one of those games that you just want to be like, you just need to experience it for yourself.
So much content in there, like, it's not like a ton of content, but it's just like, for the amount of content in it, it's all like high quality, just like, wow, so impressive.
There's so much jammed into so little space.
Yeah.
Like, it's really something else. And then you have all the dog monsters in Snowden. They're adorable. Like, petting the lesser dog to spare it is one of the greatest memes I've ever. It's just so good. You just keep petting it, and its, like, head extends forever, and then it comes off the other side of the screen. And you're just like, oh my god.
How did one person make this?
So Toby Fox did the writing and the music. There was another person who worked on the game. an artist, Temmie Chang,
Okay.
which funny enough is one of the like meme characters in the game named Temmie, and they have like a whole. It's basically like a dog type thing, but it's like a really really doofy, like intentionally goofy and doofy character. I don't know if you encountered Temmie in your run.
It sounds so familiar. Isn't there a town of Temmies?
There is a whole town of Temmies, and they are just these like basically they imagine a dog with like Ditto face.
I watched a video of them actually. I know what they are. I don't remember if I've encountered them at all. I didn't go to the village. I remember that because my girlfriend said, "Oh, you didn't get to see the Temmies." I was like, "Oh, let's look them up." And I was like, "Oh man, yeah, that would have been nice."
So good, so good. And then you have like the deep lore of this character named W.D. Gaster, who used to be the royal scientist before Alphys took over. Apparently, Gaster was this scientist who basically did these crazy, unhinged experiments, and he ended up being shattered through space and time as a result of one of his experiments. And there are literally like hundreds of hours of fan theories online as to who this character is, because you only like get a quick glimpse of him, and you're able to like read into like some of his experiments, and it's like a whole thing. And he like, who is W.D. Gaster? What is his relation to any of the characters? Like, it is a whole situation.
Huh.
I will say though, my favorite aspect of this entire game, the writing is great, the characters are great, everything. The music stands out so much. Like, the music is so incredibly just well done. Toby Fox is truly like a genius. I think is like maybe not even enough praise. Because his use of leitmotif in music, where he'll have like a little jingle, and then like you'll hear that jingle again throughout different songs at the end, and by the end of the game you've heard like 6 or 7 different jingles, and they all come together in different songs, and you just get like waves of like, oh my god. Like, how did you feel when you were walking through the end of the game right before Sans, and you have like that like little guitar song as you're walking through? It's like the ding 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 ding. Like, I don't know, I had chills when that happened.
Is that only
when you're walking through like the gray house?
Before you fight Sans?
Yes. Or maybe it's right after Sans, or before you encounter Sans. Like you encounter Sans even in the pacifist run, in that like church lit room.
At the very end of the game?
Yeah.
I didn't fight him. I fought.
Oh no! You don't necessarily. You talk to him though, right? Like Sans is chilling, waiting for you at the end. Is that when you go to the coffee house? This is literally right before Asgore. Like within like 5 to 10 minutes before fighting Asgore.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking. And then he like walks. Maybe I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember. I'm sorry. I got nothing for you. It's been a whole waste of time.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Whole waste of an episode. This is it. So, I'm sorry.
So, do you have a favorite song from this game?
I can't give you one off the top of my head, only because I really would need to listen to the entire OST, and pick one and be like, oh, because you're right, there are like little jingles and variations and such, like peppered into different songs, and I just remember liking all of it so much. But so much is happening in the game. It's crazy because I love music so much, but sometimes it doesn't stick with me in video games because so much else is going on. I'm focused on the action more. But the fact that the music in this game is so good, and it's a game, like whenever a game has great music, that's just so just classy. I feel like really good quality for a game, and yeah, so by next episode, I will have listened to the soundtrack, and I'll give you. I feel like there's always one thing that we say we're going to do next episode, and then it's completely forgotten about. So this week, I will listen to the OST and let you know what my favorite song was. How about you?
My favorite song is probably. There's so many songs. So many songs. I really, really, really love the song of just like walking through. I think it's just called Undertale.
Mm.
And it's just like a guitar version of Undertale, an acoustic version. I do love Asriel's theme, which is called Hopes and Dreams. It is such an incredible song. It basically builds on the Undertale theme and then just like goes in like 100 times harder.
Hmm.
And then there's it Hopes and Dreams goes into a song called Save the World, and his theme, and it's just like I always feel like just insanely hyped whenever I listen to it. Also, Megalovania, which is Sans' boss theme, is just incredible. I mean, maybe that song might be the best song in the last 10 years in a video game.
Ooh.
I don't think that's like overstating it either. I think it's just that good. Straight up that good.
Wow. I'm excited to listen to, or re-listen rather, to all this.
A fun little bit regarding Megalovania though. So when you fight Sans, there's like a 1 in 10 chance that a different song plays, and the title of that song is straight up just called "The Song That Might Play When You Fight Sans." Like, Toby, you didn't have to do that, but
wow.
Here you go doing that.
That's insane. I love stuff like that. Wow, are you kidding me?
It's so funny, like totally unnecessary, but totally just so perfect in every way.
Yeah, a game like this can pull that off because everything else is so good, so that just makes it even better. I love everything about this game.
So good.
Wow.
Now
Oh, go ahead.
So there's also the thing about Undertale, because it was so good and because it's basically Tumblr's favorite game of all time. I will say probably 15 plus alternate universes that fans have created, where they've basically taken like the IP of Undertale and then they've like done a different thing about it. There's so many different alternate universes, which is so funny to me. Some of them are just including, let's see, there's like 55 different versions of Sans, but there's Glitch Tale, there's Hellverse, there's Horror Tale, Reaper Tale, Underswap, Underfell, Undertale Yellow, Underwar, Xenotale, and they all have like different versions of the story and different art of the characters. Like the character art's insane for these alternate universes. But the only alternate universe that I'm personally interested in is Deltarune, which it's not technically a sequel. It is technically its own game, but it has all the same characters as Undertale, so you could call it an alternate universe. And Deltarune in and of itself is an anagram of Undertale. So, pretty good stuff. We won't go into Deltarune too much, but it is an episodic video game that Toby has been releasing over the last 3 years. Chapter 2 just released a month ago, and all I'm going to say is it's incredible. If you like Undertale, you're going to absolutely love Deltarune. It has a little bit less heat on the killing and sparing of enemies. Like, that's still a function of the game, but it has less of an impact on like the final story.
Okay.
Which is pretty solid.
Yeah.
And the music's also 10 out of 10.
Wow. Yeah, I want to play those. I haven't played the first one yet, but when I heard about it, I thought, wow, that is so nice that's there. That's kind of like when El Camino came out for Breaking Bad fans. We're like, wait a minute, are you kidding me? Like, there's a little more? There's a little more?
Exactly. Is there anything else that you wanted to add about this game? You know what? I want to talk about the fighting a little bit. Because the fighting is really, really cool. So basically the way fights work, is you can either choose to fight to do damage or act to work towards sparing these enemies. But when the enemies have their turn to attack, that's when the fighting really shines, because you end up as a little heart in a box, and you can free move in the box, and basically your job is to avoid any projectiles that are going to be coming at you. And each enemy has unique projectile attacks, and they can even change the way your heart works in some of the battles. And I thought the way that it was done was just really, really creative, and I thought it was a good job. What was your experience with the battle system?
No, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. 10 out of 10. So much better than hitting attack or magic. Pick one. I think that's why, and I've been thinking about this game a lot lately, not to sidetrack too much, but Paper Mario, just like the action commands, that just really is above and beyond in this game. Like, they just did it so right with the way the box extends sometimes, or the way you have to change the color of your heart in certain fights just to not get hit by certain colored, projectiles or bars or anything. And just they were so creative with all of that, and just any kind of shmup fan would be like, oh, this is pretty sick right now. And I loved it. I love the combat system.
My favorite fight in the game, when it comes to like the mechanics of the fight and the evasion, I think my favorite fight was against Metaton, when you are basically, your heart is flipped upside down and it turns into like a ship that fires a bullet. And you can fire bullets at the projectiles that are coming down at you. I had so much fun with that. Being able to defend yourself within the defending yourself phase was a lot of fun. And the spider fight was really cool too. You're basically, instead of being able to free move around this box, you're stuck on 3 spider threads, and you have to basically jump from thread to thread to avoid damage.
So good. I loved both of those fights.
So memorable, very, very fun. Even the Undyne fight, which basically gave you like a shield to work with and shrunk your box so your heart doesn't actually move, was super creative. Like, all of the boss fights are so creative, and just, man, this is not a bad thing to say about the game.
Here we go. There almost isn't, but but this is the smallest. This is not even a big deal. But I will say, towards the end of the game, and I probably played, I think it took me like 6.5 hours to beat, and I played the last hour and a half last week, I want to say, and I did fight both of those fights that we just talked about. And I will say, towards the end, in the game a little bit too, and maybe you can pass this if you don't talk to everything. I didn't talk to like everything, but especially like towards the end, you get to a point where you're just like in this zone, and you're like, all right, the time is coming, like the final fight. You're just like getting in the zone, and then the characters just like will not stop talking to you, and like he's definitely doing it on purpose with like the dialogue and how like, but even though it's on purpose and like supposed to take you out of the zone and like be annoying, like, that's like the one part of the game where I'm just like, all right, come on, like almost too far. Just like let me have like this, I don't know, but that's what the game is. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I wouldn't say it's if we're talking like 10 out of 10, it's probably like the closest thing to it, like a 9 point whatever, 9.9. But like, I can't say that there was no little
one line of dialogue ruined it all.
It didn't ruin it, but like, if we're talking about 100% of good versus that I have any bad emotions towards the game while playing it, I will say like there were a couple times where it was just like it's a little annoying, but still A+. We won't get into the logistics.
That's fair. You know what? There's one more thing that I think you should know, because I don't know if you knew this, but if you play the game, you beat the game, and you start a new game, specifically, like, say you played the game the way you did, and then you're like, all right, now I want to do a pacifist route. where like I spare everybody. So Flowey, the character at the beginning of the game, he pops up at both the beginning and the end of the game, and it's crazy because you can do the pacifist run after doing like a non-pacifist run, and he'll be like, yeah, you may have spared everybody this time, but we know what you did before. We know what you're actually capable of, and like he's like super messing with you and stuff like that. So the game, like, they really thought of everything.
That's crazy. That's so good. Wow. I can't stress the quality of the game with stuff like that enough. Like, that is, I don't know, not being mean, not trying to bring it full circle, but like, would Nintendo ever do something like that? Like, would they ever like remember a prior saved file? It's just like, nope, new
Absolutely
game, here you
not.
are. No, it's just like, here you go, fresh start. Everything's fair for everybody. Everything's neutral all the time. It's just like, no, Undertale, we're a badass game, and we're gonna let you know. We're gonna let you know that we're willing to take it this far, and that's why the game is so good, because it takes it that far so consistently with different things.
And what are your guys' thoughts on Undertale? Please let us know in the comments if you're on YouTube or if you're on Twitter. That'd be great. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are. It's a phenomenal game, and there's a lot of people with a lot of thoughts about it. So I think what we should do is tip the hat to Toby Fox.
Tip it to Toby and Temmie, baby.
Toby and Temmie, baby. We get that double tip going.
Dude, double tip, double T. Nothing but love.
Also, another small tip of the hat to my boy Chalupa for continuing to be adorable. Just really just putting in the work, Chalupa. Proud of you, man.
Chalupa is Bill's cat.
Yes, Chalupa is my sweet little baby boy. And one more tip of the hat. This is a huge tip of the hat. Largest tip of the hat that I can possibly think of. Last weekend was the Stacked Game Marathon. It was a 66-hour straight, non-stop gaming, speedrunning, good times type marathon for charity. We worked with Stream for a Cause, and we raised over $13,000. And I couldn't be more happy and proud to be working with a phenomenal group of people like this. You know, tip of the hat to everybody involved in the planning, everybody who showed up during the stream, everybody who donated. Just tip of the hats all around. The whole weekend went about as smoothly as you could have possibly asked, and everybody had a phenomenal time. It was just a great time, and hey, I set a PB for Banjo-Kazooie, baby.
Dude, that's all. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I knew how it went, but I didn't know you sent a PB on top of it. Wow, that's just the cherry on top, isn't it?
W's across the board.
Wow, yeah, congratulations on a really good event. That's I love stuff like that. It's very heartwarming, and it's just nice to know that people, enjoy games and also enjoy helping out others in need, and very good vibes all around. We love that. And yeah, dubs all around, right? That's a big win.
We take those for sure. Any tips of the hat from you, Tony?
I got some written down, but they're not as good as that. I mean, this is my friend hooked me up with a sealed copy of Phineas and Ferb for the Wii U. I mean, that's cool,
hell yeah.
But that's nothing next to your cool tips. Let's just move on. Just kidding. Let's hit my specialty. Let's do some wags.
All right. We can do some wags. You want to start? You want to kick us off?
Actually, I don't have too much for that either, honestly. I think the one thing that I'm a little upset about is the Nintendo Switch Online crisis.
That was my wag as well. The not even the prices, it's just the fact that it's kind of a mess, this rollout, the input lag, and just the shoddy online in general. Charging people $30 on top of the $20 they're already paying for
it's
a
like,
suboptimal experience. It's like, what are you doing, Nintendo?
Yeah, that's really awful. That price is so so high for what you're getting.
It gets worse every time I think about it.
Yeah, I have that written down. NSO price getting madder. Literally getting madder.
Damn you, Nintendo. This is why I'm going to hit them with a preemptive wag of the finger. Because tomorrow, Super Mario Party Superstars. Mario Party Superstars. There's no super at the front.
He's always super.
It's always super. Mario Party Superstars is going to get a wag of the finger from me right now for inevitably messing something up, because Nintendo is going to follow the 90-10 rule. There's going to be something stupid about the game that just does not work or just is wrong for some reason. And I don't know what it is yet. We're not sure what it's going to be, but it's going to be something. And when we talk about whatever game we're talking about next week, I'm sure I'll be coming in hot and ready.
Everyone looks forward to hearing your heat.
Listen, fire.
Especially me.
Fire.
Especially me, because I love wags. I love, the truth
It's your
is...
favorite segment of the whole show.
As an Undertale-esque little route I'm going to take right now, let me get very honest with everyone and say I don't enjoy the wagging. It's not something that I really am happy to do. If there were no wags, that would be...
ideal. In a perfect world.
Yeah, but is there light without darkness, Is there darkness without light? So it's like maybe there needs to be a couple maybe another medium, just like the route that I took, right? Maybe
but
there should just be like less.
World might be boring,
Yeah, maybe just less wags. How about all the things we wag the fingers about? How about we just...
You want to spin
those things
it
just
into
stop happening? No, I just want that shit to stop happening. You know what I mean? Like
Nintendo, get your act together and just make your servers good.
How hard is it? How much money?
Not hard.
I get mad at companies for not paying their workers and not doing certain things, not doing their job the right way. This is Nintendo. Come on.
Literally, look at how many indie games just have good online support. Indie games, come on. When Fortnite first came out, it's not like they weren't big like Nintendo and everything. It's like Fortnite was an indie game and people lost their minds. Rocket League's another one. They have good online support though. Nintendo, you are one of the 3 biggest video game companies on the planet, my guys. Internet's important, boys.
Fix it. Please fix it.
Please. I'm tipping my hat for you.
You're pushing it.
Fine. It was actually a secret wag of the finger.
Got him.
You have any other wags of the finger, Tony?
Nah. I have it. I have the price of Nintendo Switch Online somehow tying into the Sword and Shield expansion pass. But I'll leave it at that, because that's a whole nother episode now, isn't it?
We really can do a whole episode on that. Hey Tony, what video games have you been playing this week?
Dude,
besides Undertale.
Besides Undertale, a couple. I've mostly been working on collecting, but games I've enjoyed this week. I actually played Mario Party 3 again with a couple buddies of mine, and that game is so good. Granted, I asked for Chip Shot Challenge every 4-player minigame. Didn't get it. Didn't even appear for 18 games, and then when it finally didn't land on it, and then it was gone. But that was fun, and also, if you're looking for a fun game to play with some friends, if you have exactly 3 friends and yourself playing video games, Mario Strikers for the Nintendo GameCube, you can play 2v2 soccer. Dude, I suggested it a couple weeks ago. We only had 3 people total. This week, they're like, oh, everyone's here. Why you said that? Why don't we try it? And I was like, oh, I completely forgot that I even said that. And now I'm just taking all the credit for it, but I had completely forgotten about it. So if my friend didn't say it, we wouldn't have played it. One didn't want to play it. The second we played it, after 2 games, everyone in the room was just never been more in on any game. We were like, oh, this is the bet that we have to keep playing endlessly. It was a great feeling, great night,
awesome.
and Oh yeah, so yeah, Mario Strikers definitely a good experience. And next game night, it's now in the rotation of Monkey Ball 2 and Melee, and sometimes Castle Crashers when we get it to work and not glitch. Thank you, Nintendo Switch, wag of the finger. What have you been playing, bro?
Oh man, what have I been playing? So on my Twitch channel, I've been playing a little Super Mario RPG. Um, I'm actually just about to enter the final area, so it's been a really fun time. I actually was able to meet a dev who's been working on a Super Mario RPG randomizer the other day, so that was a lot of fun.
Wow.
And I just started a new Let's Play on my YouTube channel of Pokemon Ultra Sun.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
I've never played Ultra Sun before, and I've played basically all the other Pokemon games on the channel, so I figured, why not play Ultra Sun and throw it up on the YouTubes there. And, so far I only have one episode up, but it's been a lot of fun playing it. It's been fun getting back into the swing of Let's Plays. And outside of that, like I said, I set a PB for Banjo-Kazooie during the Stack Game Marathon. And I've been playing a little more Ace Attorney, Great Ace Attorney. So doing a little bit of gaming.
That's awesome. Great Ace Attorney is that's not the Switch one, is it?
That is the Switch one, the Great Ace
Oh,
Attorney
that's awesome.
Chronicles. Yeah,
That's awesome.
So it's like a prequel to Ace Attorney. You're basically playing as like Phoenix Wright's ancestor from like 100 years prior.
That's sick.
It's really good. If you're an Ace Attorney fan, I highly recommend it.
Wow. Game I've always wanted to get into, but just I think I played Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, and I was like, oh, this is just not going the way I want it to go. I didn't know it was going to be this bad.
Story time. Can we story time this real quick?
Oh yeah.
So back when I used to live back in Connecticut, right near Tony, I lent him a game, Phoenix Wright versus Professor Layton, and on my recommendation, I loved the game. I thought it was awesome. I played through it over the course of like 2 weeks, and I was like, dude, you got to play it. It's a 3DS game. I gave it to him to play it, and then like I talked to him like a month later. I was like, hey, man, what did you think of the game? And he's like, I played it for like 5 minutes and hated it.
Me?
And that's when I knew that Tony hates every video game. The video game's not for me, Bill, but, the fact that it makes you happy is good enough for me.
Planting the seed, my boy.
It was in that moment, I'm like, we need to make a podcast together.
Oh, they referenced it in that episode like 50 chapters ago. That's nuts. Like 300 chapters ago. That's nuts.
Oh, man. So that's why Tony will never play an Ace Attorney game.
I may give it another shot one day,
Ooh.
but not that one.
Yeah, no, I would actually start with like either one of the originals. Probably the original is like the best way to go, I think.
Okay.
But,
I'm always looking to fight some crime, so I played GTA.
I mean, listen, if Snoop Dogg is leaking it, then I gotta play it.
You know what? Actually, nothing to do with Snoop Dogg. Maybe a little bit. As we're wrapping up, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Have you played? There's a thinker. There's an Undertale episode. This is what we gotta do.
Yeah.
Have you played GTA 5 or any GTA?
I've played GTA 5. I haven't beaten the story, but I've just, I played GTA my own way, just running around doing stuff.
Now let me hit you with. Earlier you said you couldn't bring yourself to kill anything. You've played Undertale twice, right? All the way through, and you took the pacifist route both times. Didn't hurt
Correct.
A little soul.
Not a single baby hair on a single baby's head.
Is that how you play GTA?
Absolutely not. In fact, one of my fondest memories of Grand Theft Auto is playing Grand Theft Auto 3 at my cousin's house growing up. We would take turns. We would pop on all of the cheat codes, get all the weapons, and then we would just rocket launcher people in the city. And you just had to pass the controller when you died or got arrested, and that's how you play multiplayer Grand Theft Auto as a child. You just try to rocket launch or sniper as many people as you possibly could without dying.
You don't feel bad for them?
Absolutely not. There's that. You know what? That's just a credit to Toby Fox for writing these characters into a lovable light. Whereas in Grand Theft Auto 3, they're just like random dudes that say like, "Hey, asshole, move out of the way." Like they're all like way too angry and aggressive at a baseline, so it's like I don't really feel that bad. Like that NPC deserves a rocket launcher to the face, for sure.
The game is called Undertale.
But also, in my defense, there's really no consequences to murdering 1,000 people in Grand Theft Auto. Whereas you slap a training dummy the wrong way in Undertale and the whole run's ruined.
Are we talking about games? Or are we talking about life? Or is there a difference?
You know what? We don't know. Science is still out on that.
Games of Our Lives podcast.
We want to thank you. We want to thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Games of Our Lives podcast. If you want to listen to us on other platforms, we are available on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and anywhere you find podcasts. We're also on Twitter at Games of Our Pod and Instagram at Games of Our Pod. You can find Tony at The Polka Rapper, both on Instagram and on TikTok. And you can find myself, Bill, at Bill the Fajita on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube. Thank you guys so much for listening. As always, Tony, send us off.
Thanks so much for listening to the Games of Our Lives podcast. I'm Tony alongside Bill. Stay up.